Hi there, everybody. It's Ellen Weatherford.
And Christian Weatherford.
And this is Just the Zoo of Us, your favorite animal review podcast, where we rate your favorite animals out of 10 in the categories of effectiveness, ingenuity, and aesthetics.
We are not zoological experts, but we try to bring the best information that we can.
I'm very excited this week. We had a little bit of an overwhelming week last week, but we're back in the saddle.
Yeah, we're here.
We made it. We had a stomach flu. Well, okay, backing up a little bit. First, we had the birthday gauntlet.
Yeah.
Where we had 3 birthdays to celebrate, all within the same week, one of which being, Finley's 4th birthday.
Right.
So we had to do the whole, little kid party at our house. And, it was a lot of moving parts and a very high energy situation.
Yes.
And then also on top of that, there was also Halloween, which, as anyone with kids knows, is a whole deal.
Right. So Halloween, birthdays,
and the stomach flu.
And the stomach flu, yes. With a little bit of overlap in those things.
More of an overlap than I would have preferred. That it kind of like picked us off one by one.
Yeah.
It was a lot. There was a lot going on in our home.
Yes.
So, but we made it. We're back. And we're excited to talk about animals once again. Back in the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
So, Christian, what animal do you have for us this week?
My animal this week is inspired by my recent trip to Boston, Massachusetts.
Speak on that.
Yes. So I went to visit my brother. And one of the things I did while visiting was going to the New England Aquarium. Very nice aquarium. Lots of things to see and do. But my animal that I'm talking about this week that I saw there, among other places, is the American lobster. Is
this area known for lobsters?
It is.
Okay.
Basically all of New England.
I've never been to New England, so I don't know anything about it, but I feel like lobster, right?
Right.
I feel like it's one of the words people use to get into the accent, right?
That's true. Yeah. That dropping of the R thing.
Did you hear anyone call them that while you were there?
No, actually. No. Yeah.
Does that accent exist anymore?
It does. And what's funny was I was immediately educated on the importance because when I got off the plane, the gift shop full of stuffed lobsters.
Oh, that's not. I feel like, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we've got salmon, right? Like, I feel like everyone's got their aquatic mascot, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is theirs. So, American lobster, scientific name, Homarus americanus. I'll be getting my information from Animal Diversity Web and also the Lobster Conservancy website, lobsters.org.
Oh, I'm so glad they've got a .org for that. I feel like you were like, I need to learn about lobsters. Let me just try lobsters.org.
.edu. Along with some other things along the way. So, lobsters, they are crustaceans.
Oh, good.
Decapods, meaning 10 legs.
It's a long crab.
It's pretty long, yeah.
It's a crab hot dog style.
Right, whereas the typical crab is hamburger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, size-wise, let me talk about average first.
Yes.
I'll start there. So, not even average, the lobsters you would likely run into, like in a grocery store, at a restaurant, in a seafood market. Those are going to be around 25 centimeters long, or 10 inches, and about half a kilogram, or a pound.
I'm thinking about the lobster tanks they used to have at Publix.
Right. I
feel like they don't have those anymore.
Rarely. I think it used to be more popular in grocery stores to have like a lobster tank.
Yeah, I wonder if they still... It's been a long time since I've seen a lobster tank in a grocery store.
Yeah.
Those scared me so bad as a kid. I would not even walk past them. I was terrified of the lobster tanks. I hated them.
Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why that was a thing, by the way, and why you never saw any other kind of like live fish at a grocery store.
Yeah, that's true. Otherwise. Yeah, I mean, why is that the one live animal we're keeping at the grocery store?
I'll kind of go into that a little bit later.
Okay.
But so that was what you would normally see as like an everyday lobster, but the records have them more closer to things like a meter long.
Oh my god!
Or 3.5 feet. And 20 kilograms or 44 pounds.
That's huge.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
They get real big.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to like suffer for being so big?
Well, in a way.
Oh. Suffering from success.
Yeah. And this is the largest species of lobster.
I didn't even know there were other species of lobster.
There are, and it is complicated.
Oh, no.
But first, where you can find them is at the bottom of the ocean, specifically the Atlantic coast of North America, from Labrador, Canada, down to North Carolina, United States. And
East Coast, Beast Coast.
With lobsters, at least.
We're so used to saying West Coast, Best Coast that I was just trying to... East Coast.
West Coast. But they're most prevalent off the New England coast. And for those that are maybe not familiar with that term, New England refers to the 6 northeastern states of the United States: Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont.
Okay.
Yes.
I think of this as being like cold, pretty fall, like... That's what I think of.
Yeah, for sure. Which in my time there, by the way, was in late October. So I got to see pretty much peak fall foliage. It was very cool.
But you also have lived in New England in the past too.
My brother and I, we both lived in Rhode Island for a couple of years in our childhood, which as I was getting ready to go on this trip to Boston, I realized I would be about a 2-hour car drive from where we used to live in Rhode Island, because Rhode Island sits directly south of Massachusetts. Yeah,
feels like a big crustacean culture over there, though.
You'll hear Maine, I think, usually most often.
Oh yeah, like Maine lobsters. I feel like
yeah, because the ones that are found there are supposedly tastier.
I wish I had more ways to relate to this animal that weren't just like food based, but I don't even eat lobster. I don't eat any seafood at all, but that's still just the only context that we really like interact with them in.
And for some reason, I don't know why, for the longest time I thought New England referred to the 13 original states.
Oh yeah, like the original colonies.
Yeah, which in hindsight that doesn't make sense. No. I've never heard someone refer to
Virginia. Yeah. But you mentioned that lobsters are crustaceans.
Yes.
Are they bugs?
I don't know.
This is more of like an interpretive question. Like, would you consider them bugs?
Yeah, probably.
Because I mean, they're arthropods, right? So where do you draw the line at like what you consider a bug or not?
Just a swimmy bug.
It's a wet bug.
See, I don't know. It sets me up for potential failure because I feel like this makes me think, I bet that giant ostepod tastes like a lobster.
Yeah.
It's probably not.
They're giving bug to me.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's giving bug.
They have the format, that's for sure.
It looks like they can look like a big old roly-poly.
It's like a little
pitchy parts.
A little bit dipping into scorpion.
Oh,
a little bit with the claws. Just a little bit. It's very different claws, but I don't know. The positioning is similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, coloration. So, in the wild, alive, they are normally like a dark brown color. Now, they're often depicted in media, including those stuffies I was talking about, as being bright red colors. That is normally the color they take on after being cooked.
Oh, okay. They're not like naturally
not most
bright
of them.
Red.
Now, there are genetic mutations that can result in differently colored lobsters.
Interesting.
Which you'll see on social media from time to time.
Yeah.
That includes blue lobsters and orange and red and yellow.
The whole rainbow of lobsters.
Now, these colorations happen in the magnitude of 1 in every million to a couple 100 million.
Oh, they're special.
Yes. But you'll still see videos about it pretty often. And that's because of how many lobsters we harvest.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, 1 in a million, that still means you're going to probably find a couple a year.
Right. And the inspiration for this came from the New England Aquarium, while I was visiting, had a blue lobster in their lobster tank.
Was it pretty?
It was pretty.
Aww.
I tried to take a picture. It didn't turn out great, but there are better pictures of it, I'm sure.
That's tricky to get a picture of.
It's a dark tank, too.
Yeah.
So, cool little critter.
Oh, yeah.
And also, those colorations, sometimes they're split half and half.
I love this.
Yes.
Is that like a gender thing? Or I
did read that when that happens, they're also hermaphroditic.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Gynandromorph, I think, is the word for that. When you have an animal, because you see this in birds sometimes, where the animal will be split down the middle between like male and female plumage.
Right.
You see this with cardinals, I think, is when you'll see a good bit where like it'll be half a male cardinal and half a female cardinal. I think the word for that is gynandromorph.
Right. And with their hard shell, that split is like a straight line completely down the center.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Versus like feathers or fur that might make that line a little fuzzy.
Yeah. Do you know if they are reproductively viable?
I don't know. I didn't come across that.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if they could do it themselves, so
Maybe.
to speak. Hey there, it's me editing this episode. I was curious, so I looked it up, and I found an issue of a column called Ask the Lobster Doc, in which senior scientist at the Lobster Conservancy, Dr. Diane Cowan, clarifies that there is a difference between being a gynandromorph and a hermaphrodite. So hermaphroditism is more species-wide, where all individuals of a species function reproductively as both male and female. So an example of this would be something like snails or slugs or clownfish, which we talked about just a few episodes ago. Meanwhile, gynandromorph is a genetic abnormality that occurs only in a small number of individuals. Dr. Cowan writes that gynandromorph lobsters typically can't reproduce, but she did note at least one lobster observed in the wild that was bearing a brood of eggs when it was caught. So, life finds a way. Also, split-colored lobsters are even rarer than the special colors on their own, since the lobster has to be both gynandromorph and a rare color morph to get that split color. According to the Seacoast Science Center, about 1 in 50 million lobsters are split-colored. In November of 2023, fifth-generation fisherman Jacob Knowles caught a half-blue lobster off the coast of Maine, which he shared in a series of very popular videos on social media where commenters voted to name the colorful creature Bowie. Bowie was kept in a tank for a few days before Knowles made the decision to notch their tail and release them back into the ocean to live out the rest of their fabulous days. I just thought y'all would like to hear about that. Okay, back to the episode.
So yeah, I read that lots of times when lobster commercial fisheries or even people doing it just on like a one-to-one thing, when they find these kind of lobsters, they'll often donate it to aquariums and things.
It does feel like if you find one that's like really, really pretty, it's like when you get those like specialty cookies and stuff where you're like, it's too pretty, I don't want to eat it.
Right.
But also, doesn't that kind of suck a little bit for lobsters that like you have to be breathtakingly beautiful to be spared?
Yeah.
Right? Like the only thing that will save you is being beautiful to humans.
Now there's some other things that will save them, which I'll talk more about in the conservancy, but yeah.
I wonder if over time that would lead to a selection bias for like colorful and prettier lobsters. Like if since those are the ones we're not eating, right? Like I wonder if over time those would become more common.
Yeah, probably not, but I'll talk about why later.
Oh, okay.
So getting into our first category of effectiveness, this is things like physical adaptations, things that their body can do. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. So first I'm going to talk about their anatomy in terms of having an exoskeleton.
Yeah.
So like other crustaceans and bugs, they don't have an internal skeleton like you or I do. They have an exoskeleton, so they have a hard shell that all of their squishy bits fit inside of.
They got the hard parts on the outside.
Yes.
Doing things the other way around.
Now, we've talked about this before with other animals, though. Like, this makes growth a little strange, right?
Oh, right.
Because that shell is hard and isn't flexible, doesn't get bigger on its own. So what they have to do, like most other crustaceans, is they have to molt. So when they grow and they get big, they have to get rid of that old shell and then grow a new one.
But they are growing a new one, though. It's like something that they can continuously grow.
Right.
Okay, not like
right.
I was thinking like hermit crabs, right? Like they don't grow their own shell. They have to find a bigger one.
Well, you know what, though? I bet hermit crabs also have to molt their own shells.
They do. They have to come out of the shell to molt, and then they have to find a new shell afterwards.
So it's a dual process for them.
Yeah, they got to do both. Man, that sucks.
So I think the molting process is pretty interesting. So the way they get ready for this, so their body absorbs the minerals that makes the shell hard, like from the shell and into their bodies, and that lets them crack open the shell and slide out of it.
Oh, ooh,
yeah,
creepy.
I think we talked a lot about this with the Japanese spider crab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's even like something of that size was even more impressive to see it do it.
That reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where Mr. Krabs like molts. Do you remember that episode? And he's all like pink and soft the whole episode.
Zoidberg is another one that does this a lot.
Yeah.
In the media.
And Zoidberg's got the claws too.
Right.
He's giving lobster.
Yes. So they crack open their shell and slide out of it. So basically just meat and squishy bits.
Great. Awesome.
They absorb water, making themselves bigger. And then the new shell will harden over a few days. It'll continue to harden for much longer than that, but it'll get hard enough after a couple days. And after that hardens and they start to grow, they're replacing that extra water with actual new tissue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were bluffing for a couple of days.
Well, it's basically giving them space to because like they can't grow that tissue immediately, right? But they can suck in water pretty quick. And then
I thought it was like they sucked in a bunch of water so they would look bigger.
The way I think of it is like you'll see chefs who will inflate a balloon and then make a chocolate casing around it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll deflate the balloon to then fill it with something else.
Oh, and then now you have the hardened shell left behind that's like in that original shape. Oh, yeah. I can see that.
That's the way I think of it.
That is interesting.
Now, when they do this, they can grow 10 to 15% in size every molt.
It's a big jump.
Yeah. And after they do this, they'll hide while that new shell hardens to protect them from predators, because that's one of their first lines of defense is having a hard shell.
Right.
So that is their most vulnerable point. So they try to hide and just to stay away from the things that will try to eat them. Now, molting becomes less frequent as they get bigger, but it also requires a lot of energy. And the larger they are, the more energy it takes to do that molting.
That makes sense.
This will be important later.
Oh, okay. I'll tuck that one away. Keep that in my pocket.
Yes. Next thing I'll talk about is limb regeneration.
Oh.
Yes. So just like other crustaceans, if they lose a limb, they can grow it back slowly. Basically, more of it grows back with every molting.
Oh,
right?
Okay. So it is a pretty slow process then.
I'm not sure how many molts it takes to, for example, if they were to lose one of their big claws, I'm not sure how many molts that would take. Probably a lot, I would imagine.
Yeah. But being able to regenerate a limb at all,
right?
Like, that's pretty good. You want to have that.
Yeah.
Although they've got 10 legs. What? I mean, you got plenty of them. Lose one, it's fine.
Yeah. And they're not, I mean, the claw legs are known for being tasty, but the other ones are not usually bothered with.
I'm just saying you can spare a few. You could probably lose, like 6 before you even notice.
It's just a little snack. Next thing I want to talk about is their longevity.
This is something I've heard a lot about for
Yes.
lobsters, so I'm excited to learn about this.
Yes. So they're thought to be able to live for decades, but unfortunately it is hard to measure like how old a lobster is, because all the hard parts we would normally use to identify a creature, they get rid of every so often.
Oh, they regenerate.
Yes.
The lobster of Theseus. Is it really the same lobster the whole time? Or is it just they're perpetually renewing, like it's all new parts?
Yes.
At what point is it a new lobster?
A question for others to answer, I'm sure. So yeah, it's hard to tell how old they are. And we also don't keep like lobster farms. It's just not viable. It's easier just to get them out of the ocean and make sure we're doing the right things by them there than it is to make farms for them. So the only really accurate age data we have are those that are captive. And like we know how long they live because we know when they were born. But
I was going to say, like, just watch one.
Yeah,
I don't see what's hard about this.
But that's the thing. So that only gives you an idea of in captivity.
Right.
And they don't really know how old they live to be in the wild. So the part you were alluding to, a meme, I will say, that went around the internet probably 10 plus years ago now, would often cite lobsters as being immortal.
Yes.
People would say, well, if given all the right factors, nothing's stopping them from growing and growing and growing.
Right. Like if they're not killed, they will live forever.
Right. It's not quite the case. So they're not immortal. What they do have though is called indeterminate growth, which means humans, for example, we grow for the first, 20 some odd years of our lifetimes, and then we stop growing. Like we don't get any taller. We're not developing new structures and things like that, right?
Right. You hit a point in your lifespan where you're done growing, but not done being alive.
Yes. And then we go on living for several decades after that. In a lot of what the theory says about what causes aging is your cells lose the ability to replicate after a while, right? So that's what's called senescence. And in humans, that happens because of your cells no longer being able to replicate and divide as well as they used to.
Do you want to know something fun about the word senescence?
What's that?
The Latin word. Let me get comfy here. The Latin word that the word senescence comes from, like the Latin root word, is senex, which is a Latin word which meant old man, which is also the same root word as the word Senate.
Oh.
Senators.
Okay.
Old men.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my little word corner.
How timely. So, lobsters, they don't have this problem. They will keep growing as long as they're alive.
Love it.
But that doesn't mean they're immortal. So, earlier I mentioned their molts take energy. And the bigger they get, the more energy these molts take. So what will happen is it'll get to a point where they just die of exhaustion. They're trying to molt. So, or they'll just fail to molt. They'll get stuck in their old shell, and then other things will happen that will kill them.
Oh, okay. So either way, whether you molt and that's what takes you out, or you don't molt and then you are going to die because you didn't molt.
Right.
You reach a catch-22 at some point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And a lot of that information comes from the online article titled "Don't Listen to the Buzz, Lobsters Aren't Actually Immortal," which was published on the Smithsonian Magazine website by Marina Corin in 2013.
Thank you for setting that record straight. Because it was something I had heard about, but I hadn't looked enough into to know the details of it.
I mean, one kind of comment I saw around this conversation was, did this just start because what we would call senescence doesn't look like what happens with them, right?
Right. They're not dying from an aging process. They're not dying because their body just gives out from age. But they will die, from a natural, progression. They will just naturally die on their own.
Right.
Just not from, their body shutting down from age.
I mean, if you take it from an anime point of view, right? The thing gets big enough to where there's no longer a way to sustain that body. A Gurren Lagann type situation.
Oh, okay. It's just a different way of looking at aging, I guess.
Right.
Just because their bodies don't age in the way that ours doesn't mean that they don't do it at all. It just looks different for lobsters.
Yeah. That whole topic is really interesting. I didn't want to dig too deep into it here, but I would encourage the listener to do some more research on it if you're interested.
Yeah, I find senescence to be really interesting, especially when you look at species that just they just reach a point in their life where they're we're done, mission accomplished, wrap it up here, and they just stop living. So like octopuses and salmon and stuff, they'll be all right, I reproduced, we're done here, bye.
Yeah. Okay, so next up on the board, vision. They can only detect motion.
They got tiny little eyes. They can't see nothing.
And only motion in dim light. They do, however, have an impressive array of chemoreceptors.
Ooh. What does chemoreception mean?
So it could be detecting chemicals in the water for them.
It's kind of like smell.
Yeah. And they use this for detecting other species, potential mates, prey, and predators. So their smelling organs are actually on their antenna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of this reminds me of bugs, right? Or insects where they'll use their antenna for picking up on pheromones or chemical signals nearby.
Yeah. And they also have taste organs on their legs and mouth parts.
I would not like to have taste organs on the parts that are in contact with the ground.
Right.
I wouldn't love that. I feel like maybe we can tweak that a little bit.
Maybe they have to just find everything tasty. Now, one of the things they use for communication is pheromones. And one way they will do that is via their urine, which is released. So their bladder actually sits underneath their brain, like in the head region.
Oh, fun.
And it is
That's
released.
a weird place for that.
It is. And then the urine is released from glands in their face.
Awesome.
So basically what they do is they'll release it into the water they're pushing out with their normal gill breathing. And we'll spray it towards something else, like another lobster. So
great.
Now for that to be picked up by that lobster, it has to go to their antenna, right? So it's basically pushing urine from one face to another face.
Oh, great. That's so romantic.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That's how Christian flirted with me.
Oh, no.
But I mean, it's all water, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're in the water and it's probably like a low concentration of pee around you.
There's worse things in the water
than lobster pee. And they have to taste all of it.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yep.
Oh. Although you can learn a lot about someone by their pee.
Apparently. I don't know if you've heard this before, but the reason why diabetes is called what it is has to do with, you know what? That's probably not appropriate.
Wait, what is it?
It's that the urine of someone with diabetes tastes sweet.
Now, who?
And was how it was diagnosed for at one point.
I'm glad I wasn't a doctor during the time when that was the diagnostic process. Fun. Yeah. What can you imagine if like part of the process of like dating somebody was that you had to get just like a good sort of face full of pee?
Horses do this.
What?
You've never seen this?
No. Why would I have seen this?
Pretty sure giraffes too.
Oh, gross. They have to pee on each other's faces? Cows
probably.
Oh, man.
Well, you know, they're getting the...
Gross.
Yeah, you're probably going to have to edit a lot of this out.
No, this is everyone's problem now.
Okay, so next thing, fun aside.
I'm just imagining two people like on a first date and they're at a really nice restaurant and like have like wine glasses, but it's not wine in the glasses, and you just like have a sommelier. You like take a good whiff and you're like, I'm getting notes of.
Oof.
We're having fun.
I would be single in this scenario, I think.
Like, you know what? I have to do what? No thanks. I'll pass.
Go play D&D and video games. No thanks. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about from effectiveness are their claws.
Yes.
So they got big meaty claws. Yes. Now you'll notice they'll have a larger one. So one of them is larger than the other.
I didn't know that.
And that one is used for crushing, and the smaller one is used for cutting.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to have one of each, right?
Now, I'll say they're both pretty big. It's not... This isn't as big of a difference in some kinds of crabs. Like
fiddler crabs and
stuff.
Yeah,
well, they have a massive one and then a little itty-bitty like
T-Rex
claw.
T-Rex claw. You keep saying you'll notice this. I've never noticed anything about a lobster. I've spent so little time looking at lobsters in my life. I've never noticed anything about them.
And in their diet, they're usually a scavenger, but they can catch their own food as well. And their diet is mostly clams, crabs, snails, small fish, algae, and eelgrass.
Get a nice balanced diet.
Yep, especially balanced because they're known to eat their own molted shells.
Waste not, want not.
Yes.
You know, that's sustainability.
I wonder if part of that is a survival thing to where, like, I'm not going to leave evidence that I'm soft and vulnerable.
That's true.
Nearby.
Yeah. Oh, man. I wonder if that's, like, part of it.
Maybe.
Like, I have to hide the evidence.
That seems a little higher order of thinking than I think they're capable of, but who
Probably
knows?
just, look, an edible substance.
They just forgot that it came off their own body. Oh, cool. Snack.
I wonder how this got here. Better not think about it. Well, but also I wonder if it's something like how I know that a lot of times chickens, for example, will like eat like eggshells, right? Like either when the eggs hatch or if the eggs like aren't viable, a chicken will eat an egg, like,
right.
But it's to reabsorb some of the like calcium that they lost when laying the egg. So I wonder if it has something to do with like trying to reabsorb some of those lost nutrients.
Yeah, I bet. Also, they're known to eat each other in captivity.
Great. I mean,
which I think is part of the reason why when you do see these in captivity or in a grocery store tank, they often have their claws rubber banded.
Oh, yeah. I guess I thought that was to protect us.
Probably that too. Yeah.
Making them a little more grabbable.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, we're not the only ones who think they're tasty.
Yeah, so. They think they're tasty.
Yeah. Do you think they saw us doing it and they were like, well, hold on, y'all might be onto something?
I would have to guess that they have a couple million years on us on this one.
Maybe it was the other way around. Humans saw lobsters going to town on each other and they were like, there's an idea.
Maybe.
Hey there, we're taking a quick break to hear from a couple of our friends on the Maximum Fun Network. When we get back, we are talking ingenuity, aesthetics, and conservation for American lobsters. So stick around.
Say you like video games, and who doesn't?
I mean, some people probably don't.
Okay, but a lot of people do. So say you're one of those people, and you feel like you don't really have anyone to talk to about the games that you like.
Well, you should get some better friends.
Okay, yes, you could get some better friends, but you could also listen to Triple Click, a weekly podcast about video games hosted by me, Kirk Hamilton.
Me, Maddie Myers.
And me, Jason Schreier. We talk about new releases, old classics, industry news, and whatever, really.
We'll show you new things to love about games, and maybe even help you find new friends to talk to about them.
Triple Click. It's kind of like we're your friends. Find us at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jesse Thorne, the founder of Maximum Fun, and I have a special announcement. I'm no longer embarrassed by my brother and me. You know, for years, each new episode of this supposed advice show was a fresh insult, a depraved jumble of erection jokes, ghost humor, and frankly, this is for the best, very little actionable advice. But now, as they enter their twilight years, I'm as surprised as anyone to admit that it's gotten kind of good. Justin, Travis, and Griffin's witticisms are more refined, like a humor column in a fancy magazine. And they hardly ever say bazinga anymore. So, after you've completely finished listening to every single one of all of our other shows, why not join the McElroy brothers every week for My Brother, and Me?
So that wraps up effectiveness. Our next category of ingenuity, which is things that they do that are smart, could be methods, could be tool use, that kind of thing. I'll give a 7 out of 10 on this one.
I mean, they're easily thwarted by a rubber band. So.
Curses.
Office supplies, my one weakness.
2 of my 10 legs. The biggest thing I want to give them props for is how they determine direction of smell. So lobsters have 2 antennae. So what they'll do is they'll move their antenna in the water to sniff. So they can compare concentrations detected by the 2 antennae to determine a direction to the source.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what their antenna kind of remind me of? Dowsing rods.
Yeah.
Have you seen people using like dowsing rods, which are nothing. They don't
Sure.
do anything. But like, you know, how they kind of like wave them around in different, like they kind of like rotate in different directions. That's what I always think of when I see lobsters.
Yeah.
Like,
well, what's interesting is the sensors that detect smell, or well, we'll just say smell, on their antenna, they're so densely packed that the water around them doesn't flow freely. So they have to wave them around in the water to get more water over them to really smell what's going on, which is what we do when we sniff.
Right. Yeah.
We're moving air over our, like, the glands that let us smell.
Right. You just have to like move the fluid like through your sensory organs. So I guess they're just waving them around.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I guess for us, that's usually like, you know, where we pick up a smell just based, because, you know,
we're very bad at this.
We're breathing through our nose sometimes. And at that point, we're like, oh, I want more information about this. And that's when we'll start sniffing to get more and more of that, like, data, so to say.
Yeah, you might just be like passively breathing, but then once you get a little signal of something, then you're really like...
Yeah. So yeah, they can use this combination of 2 antennae to determine direction of smell.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And they can also use this type of method for determining movement of water. So they have a sense of touch as well on those antennae.
Oh, okay. So they can see if like something's moving around them. Like if there's, because, you know, like if a very large something swims by, they would be able to feel like the water being disturbed by that.
Right. Yep. And then last category of aesthetics, how cool or beautiful they look. I give an 8 out of 10. And that's mostly around the variety of coloration that they can be. Especially the blue one I saw in person. It was pretty cool.
I think the tails are pretty.
They are.
They have like a little bit of almost like a frill.
Yeah.
Like around the end, like a fringe. I think they're pretty.
Something interesting there. Like the common term for that part of the crab is the tail, but it is actually more like their abdomen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
So, I mean, I'll still call it a tail. That's what it's called on the menu.
I mean, I don't know. I think they're kind of pretty.
They are pretty.
The lobsters are neat. Or the claws are neat too. Like, I don't know. I think they're cool.
The underside of the tail is also where you'll find their eggs.
Oh,
for females.
okay. I've seen this. I feel like
Yes.
I've seen videos of like people catching them up out of the water and they flip them over and you can see all the eggs on the bottom.
Yes, which is a great segue into conservation, which right now they're labeled as least concern.
I would hope so.
Yes. But I feel like a lot of that is because the people in charge of fishing them have taken great lengths to make sure that it's sustainable and that there's more lobsters in the future.
Right.
It's pretty interesting. So first, how they're caught. So you can get crab pots, which is basically just like a cage that it has bait inside it and an entrance that's...
Oh, I've played Stardew Valley.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. Or RuneScape, or... the idea is you get the lobster to go into the cage and they're not able to get out. Now, there are regulations on, how big those pots can be, how big the hole is that lets other things get out that you're not trying to catch, and also how long they can be in the water. And they can also be caught as bycatch in things like trawling nets and that kind of thing. But there's rules around what can and cannot be kept. So in addition to like number of lobsters, right, if you're just an individual, like non-commercial fisher, like there's a number of lobsters that you can't exceed in a given day. But kind of across the board though, there's some general rules having to do with size. So I mentioned a very specific size range that you and I would see. That's because that is the size range that they're allowed to be caught.
Oh, so we wouldn't see any that were bigger than that.
Probably not.
Okay.
Not legally. So the idea is they don't want them too small, but they also don't want them too big.
Why wouldn't they want ones that were too big? Like what would the difference be?
Because the size of lobster has a direct impact on how many eggs they lay.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
bigger ones would be able to have more offspring.
Yes. And also, you're not allowed to keep any lobster that has eggs.
Okay, so this is why they're checking.
Yes.
This is why they look on the bottom.
Yes. So if you pull up a female that has eggs, that has to go back regardless of size and all that other stuff.
Oh, she's safe.
And also, what they'll do is they'll notch the tail when they find one of those, so that later, if that female is caught again, the person knows that maybe they don't have eggs at that moment, but it is a reproducing female, so that they'll put that back too.
Oh, okay. So like this is one that can have eggs.
It just doesn't maybe at the time.
Okay, so you still can't take one even if like you wouldn't be able to just catch that same female later.
Right. Because the idea is the notch in the tail would tell you that this was previously caught with eggs. Now that notch will go away after a couple molts.
Oh.
So
I guess you just gotta keep them coming, ladies.
yeah.
You gotta refresh that notch, girlfriend.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting. A big part of the culture there. Lots of talk and kind of tourism around it.
Yeah.
I personally had some lobster at a seafood restaurant while I was there.
What'd you think?
It was tasty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a seafood. I don't like seafood at all. It's just a preference. I don't have any feelings about it. I just don't like it. And so seafood tends to be an indulgence for Christian. I will like go to a place that serves seafood. Like they usually have other stuff and I'll just get something else. But
yeah, but nowadays, don't want to waste a date night on having to get the B item on a menu.
I don't mind. Listen, I'm a chicken tenders and french fries kind of person. Sometimes I'll take it. I don't care.
A specific food that area is known for is the lobster roll, which is just like a roll sandwich with lobster meat and some other things in there. I thought I was going to get one, but I decided not to because it seemed too expensive. Like for the same price of a
Right.
lobster roll, I got a lobster tail with shrimp and scallops
Yeah.
and sides. I was like,
So I have heard something recently. I don't know if this is something you've come across, but I heard that our cultural perception of eating lobster has changed a lot
Yes.
over like the last few decades.
yes.
Because these days it is seen as something very fancy,
Right.
right? Like if you're getting lobster, it is probably going to be like a very expensive item on the menu. It is a little bit of an indulgence. It's like a luxury, right? It's seen as being like a very luxury food item.
Yes. So a long time ago, it was seen as more of a peasant food or a poor person's food because, well, one, the stigma around it was like the cockroach of the ocean, basically.
Okay. Well, okay.
No, but also, here's the thing. When they die, their meat spoils quickly.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
I didn't look into the specifics, but it has a lot to do with the way their digestion works. It's just when they die, under most conditions, the meat will go bad and it doesn't taste good.
That would, to me, imply that, like, that would be an expensive item because it has to be fresh to be eaten, right? Like, I wouldn't think that that would be equated to being, like, I don't know, a struggle meal.
Well, but I mean, most seafood is not caught like that. Like, so today we think of it as, oh, that lobster was alive 20 minutes ago before it was on my plate.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where that practice came from, is because they figured out, like, oh, if this goes from basically being living to cooked immediately, like, you avoid that problem.
Oh, that explains why they keep the tanks in the grocery store, because otherwise it's going to be gross by the time you sell it.
Right.
Oh, okay. Because I know that in other parts of the world you will have more like live like catches and stuff like that. Like you'll have markets that will have like, what do you call them? Wet markets. You'll have like a lot of supermarkets in other parts of the world will have like other live like live animals there to be eaten. But like in a typical American grocery store, you might see a lobster tank, and that's probably it.
Well, even when we think of fresh seafood, you're probably thinking of, whole fish that has been, cleaned a little bit.
Yeah.
And on ice. You can't do that with lobsters. Not like that, at least. Now, this gets into some ethical problems.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because, once they did figure out, like, oh, this is actually really popular, really tasty if, prepared very fresh. And that's when it stopped being a poor person's food. And, the more higher class individuals started eating it and driving the price up.
When capitalism takes the wheel. Like, I'll take it from here. Thanks.
Right.
Hey, quick heads up. The next part of this conversation is about methods of dispatching lobsters. So if you don't want to hear about that kind of thing, you might want to skip ahead about a minute. I'll give you a couple of seconds before the episode resumes.
So yeah, one of the popular methods from the past several decades was to simply boil them alive. So
which seems mean.
It is. Pretty ethically problematic, I would say.
There could be a step in between, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like we do with like every other animal.
Sure. And there's also an idea of like stabbing them in what you would call their brain.
Oh.
But the problem is their brain is not the same kind of brain that you and I have, to where...
Oh, yeah. Arthropod brains are really funky. They're not like as centralized as ours is. They can have like multiple like nervous...
Ganglia, I think.
Yeah, they're like multiple like nervous centers around their body. So just getting the one spot isn't going to do the job, I guess.
Yeah, so even that is not so straightforward. So... problems around that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Although I came across, there's one method where if they're frozen in such a certain way, you can get around the like meat going bad.
Then just do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
What are we doing?
I didn't dig too far into that part of
technology.
it. That also makes their transportation very expensive. So it's said that, the further away you are from Maine, for example, like the more expensive Maine lobster is going to be, because there's a lot of cost in transporting them in such a way to where
because you have to transport them live, I guess.
Right, or very specially prepared.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea is, I guess, the closer you are, the cheaper it is. But I don't know. Even in Massachusetts, I never saw a single lobster roll where I was like, oh, wow, that's so cheap. No.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess it's just... But also, it sounds like stuff in that area tends to be pretty expensive anyway, so...
Yeah.
I do feel like shellfish and like eating crustaceans in general is like, that could be a good gateway into what we should all be considering doing more of, which is eating bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Because like eating bugs is supposed to be a very good, sustainable, eco-friendly protein source. And the only reason why people don't do it more frequently in like America is because we have a stigma about it, and we're weird about not wanting to eat bugs just because we've decided bugs are like the things we don't eat. And this is like lobsters and crabs. They're like basically bugs.
Yeah. There's that one recipe in the D&D cookbook you got me.
Oh, yeah.
Has roasted crickets. I want to try that.
Yeah, I got Christian for his birthday. What is it called? The Book of Many Feasts or something like that. It's
morsels,
like
something
Book
like
of
that.
Many Morsels, something like that. It's a D&D like cookbook.
Yeah.
And one of the recipes in it is for a big sort of like appetizer snack.
It's basically trail mix, but with like
Trail mix with crickets in it.
yeah. It looks tasty. I'll give them that.
I was like, if this is what gets me to try crickets, so be it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think lobsters are a good gateway. Like if you're already chill with eating, like I feel like maybe eating bugs could have the same treatment as going from being perceived as like, oh, gross, cockroaches of the sea, right? Like if the lobsters can make the turnaround, then maybe so can other bugs.
Maybe. So yeah, that's the American lobster.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Christian. We're running on 48 minutes.
Uh-oh.
And my segment is not short.
Uh-oh.
So what do you want to do?
You're the boss.
Do you want to split it and do my segment as another episode?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a wrap. Turns out we don't have time to do my segment because my segment is also long and we yapped about lobsters too much. So we'll put a pin on that and we'll talk about my animal next week. I hope that you enjoyed this time. I hope you learned something new about lobsters today. And if you liked what you heard, I'd love it if you left behind some kind words for us in a review on your podcast app of choice. If you'd like to hang out with us on social media, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and Discord. Links to everything will be in the episode description, so come hang out with us. Also, if you have an animal you'd like to hear us talk about on the show, my email address is ellen@justthezooofus.com. So send in any critters you'd like to hear us talk about. We would like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside the other amazing amazing podcasts you heard about earlier in this episode. So if you want to learn more about those podcasts and the network and how you can be a part of supporting our show and get access to our exclusive bonus content, head over to MaximumFun.org. Finally, we would like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music, which bops. No? Slaps?
Slaps.
That's the one. That's the word. I'm really hip and good at slang. It's very skibbity. It's so Sigma.
I'm just gonna unplug here.
Riz.
Here's my
Bye.
bye.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
Supported
directly
by you.